you guys recording minutes tonight? How are you doing that with Nancy not here?
I'm taking.
You're taking notes?
Yes,
okay. Did you guys cut a check for Steve Little tonight?
No, not that I know.
There was no check
There's
signed.
no.
We didn't cut a check, but
Okay.
there's,
What's the status of the investigation?
You have to contact prosecutor's office. I don't
This
know.
is June 7th. It's supposed to be done by June 30th. I mean July 7th. It's supposed to be done by June 30th.
right, and when it was extended, it was handled through the prosecutor's office.
But we're still paying for it, right? Township's still paying all that?
We're not paying anything, haven't received any invoices.
Okay. Any status on replacement of gear?
No.
How long are we going to table that? Because I don't have gear, and you're putting my life at risk. My children would appreciate it if I come home. Anybody have an answer? Mark?
No, I don't.
Okay. Just a couple comments. To date, well, I should say May 5th, the township's paid out a total of $13,997.50 to Steve Little, and we have nothing. As of right now, we have nothing. We've also hired a labor attorney, paid out $6,094.55. Nobody can tell us why they hired a labor attorney, but we did. We paid out $240 in May to the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office. What was that for?
It's for the meetings.
To have a policeman stand by here. Was there a need for that?
Yes, I felt it was.
You felt threat? That we
So I
need a
got the
police
same,
officer?
Melissa.
Okay. And we paid $4,725.95 that I can document, that I have documentation of, to Mark Van Buren through June 15th to do, I'm assuming, your guys' jobs, for a grand total of $25,058 of our taxpayers' money that could potentially be spent in more appropriate and better ways. Fire gear, public safety, brake line for our engine, replacing or repairing our medics.
Fire money isn't being spent.
This is
for any of
comments.
that.
This is comments from citizens. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments.
Okay. And also, I know in past, Nancy's had a little difficulty making sure our comments get into the minutes. So I made a copy for you, so I can make sure that that gets into the minutes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nick Garber?
Alright. I was going to ask also about the fire gear, but I guess that's been handled. Are we, I guess I'll make more of a comment than a question. I think we need to act on some of the applications that we have, especially if they're certified people. The reason being, there's a handful or two of really dedicated people that are kind of keeping things together right now. The morale in the department's pretty low. I think we know that, probably result of the investigation. But we definitely have vacancies, and traditionally we have filled them. So I think that we should continue to do that. And we have typically a roster of about 50 people. And if you go by the NFPA standards, then you know every 10 years that gear's got to be replaced. Well, if you just divide that, if we buy 5 sets of gear a year, we would have a regular rotation that's going to meet that. And I kind of wonder why we don't do that. Just it seems kind of simple to me. It's a known cost. You know, so it's a known expense anyway. It's a necessity, not really like a luxury item. I also think as a citizen and of course as a member of the fire department that because of the morale issue and also because of the changing of the times and stuff like that with surrounding departments going to having paid people on at nighttime, I think we should look at doing that. And I think there's some room in the budget traditionally. I don't know what the figures are right now for fire department funds or whatever, but I mean, $30,000 would get you pretty much a full-time guy, which I'm not saying we need a full-time guy, but that kind of gives you an idea how much you'll get for that amount of money.
How many, and Darren, you may jump in, how many do you think you would need and from what times?
Well, I mean, I think we could talk about it if the board would, consider doing that, but my thought would be, at a minimum, just boost our 8.5-hour shifts to maybe 12-hour shifts to kind of cover a little bit more when people are leaving Madison Township to go to Columbus to work, before that 8 o'clock start time. And then also give a little bit of fluff room for people coming back from Columbus, to get back into the township to respond to calls, and because that's when we're having some difficulty, but we are having a little bit of difficulty at night too, on some of the runs. So I guess I would like to just see what the budget is, that is available, and then see how many hours that equates to, and then we could see what is the best time. But I think we kind of need to move in that direction. That's just my thought as a resident, and of course as on a fire department, because I can see from both sides what's going on. We just and Hanover now has paid people. Of course, Newark does, and Marianne does as well. And I can't even speak for the fire company, but and obviously Heath has paid people. So we're pretty much surrounded by people that have realized that we need to supplement our volunteers. So that's all I'm asking. I think that we need a little bit of help, with paid people. If for nothing else, just to reduce response time. If we could get a truck out the door right away, and then have the volunteers go to the scene, I think that will cut down on the response time dramatically. And of course, we all know minutes save lives and all that. So I think that's all I have.
Thank you.
So thank you, Nick. Mr. McDonald?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna use this because I actually have handouts. I guess, before I get on my subject, a question to Mark. Would you deny gear to the fire people at Harrison Township?
We have a district, a fire district,
Well,
that's not
would
Harrison
you deny,
Township.
deny gear to the district fire department people? We have 28 personnel here and 6 of them don't have gear.
I think.
So
we
if,
get-
excuse me, I'll finish your question. She's a registered nurse.
Mhm.
If there's a car wreck and there's somebody inside the car, she can't go inside the car and help them. She sits on the side and watches them because she doesn't have gear. It's not because we don't have money, because we all know, notwithstanding all the tens of thousands of dollars being spent on attorneys and everything else now, that we roll over $700,000 a year. She is going to sit there and watch someone bleed in a car because you guys don't think she needs gear, and the other 5 people that don't have gear. It's just crazy. It's too crazy to be talking about, but here we are. But to answer your question, or answer my question, would
You got a point.
Okay. What I'd like to do is hand out something, because I noticed you guys had an article in the Advocate, and in the article, you state that the reason why we don't have a washing machine, of course, is the fire department's fault. It's not the trustees. Because well, how did you word that, Karen? The fire department has submitted a purchase order for a washing machine. The specifics of what type and size were not provided.
It does, I said to her, the make and model were not provided to us.
So if they need they have to, so you wouldn't say to them the 20 times that you tabled this item. You would not say to your fire department, I would like to have a make and model, or did they refuse to give it to you? I mean, did you ask them for it and they actually refused to give it to you? I mean, it's ridiculous. Because number one here is you look at the budgets in front of you. The fire budget had about a $100,000 rollover. They had money coming in, $363,000. They asked for to spend their own money. The money that was allocated to the fire department, $319,000. So $43,000 plus a $100,000 rollover that they have. And on this budget, they're asking for a $1,200 spindleless washer from Lowe's.
Greg, I will make a comment. That $1,200 washer is one thing.
You're making my comment. You're
Go
making my
right
comment, exactly, exactly. The fire department didn't think they could get more than a $1,200 spindleless washer from this trustee group. So they're just scraping the bottom of the barrel. You don't want to buy a $1,200 spindleless washer, you want to buy an extractor, which we'll get into in a second. But the bottom line is, this was, you're mentioning here that there was no details given. And when you tabled this over 20 times, you're saying here, your exact wording was, we have not denied the purchase, Barger said.
So I did say that we had not done it.
You tabled it over 20 times. If that's not a denial, I don't know what is. When you take something and you table it and say, we're not going to deal with it, you're not saying no. You're just saying we're not going to deal with it now, and now, and now, and now, while your firemen are in danger, and you're rolling over $600,000 to $700,000, and they have their own money to spend for it. Now, that all being said, now, you also mentioned in here that you researched this, and I apologize for my copy. I didn't notice this till I got here. This is not a washer. This is an extractor. And in your article, you state that you have $13,000. Karen, you did this research, I think it says. Yeah. Based on some research that Barger did, the Continental tractor holds 2 sets of turnout gear. It costs $13,500. And I do apologize for this copy, but the website does work. The extractor, not the $1,200 washer, but an extractor that these guys need for the fire department costs $4,039. I'm not very sophisticated on a computer, and I don't know a whole lot about research, but I Googled it. And that's kind of the range where I came up with $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. But somehow you Googled it for your story and made it $13,000.
Greg, can I ask, I'm sorry, the next one, right below that, the first one that you highlighted for $4,000?
Yes.
How many pounds is that?
Just for one set of gear. It just says one set of gear. The most expensive one here was down at the bottom, the 55-pounder that's $10,000. And again, I apologize for but it's,
That's all right.
the Google's on top. But the point is, we have to start talking about this stuff. And I'm sorry, I know it's uncouth for me to be talking this way, but I don't know what to do. I mean, you guys have quit talking, because every time you say something, we come back and say, that wasn't true. And here, you're quoting in a newspaper things that are absolutely not true, and you know it. Everyone in here knows it. I don't know what do you do about that? We have to stop. I mean, you're supposed to be our neighbors.
I don't have the email that I retrieved from the manufacturer,
Karen,
of which Chad Deal had.
I could probably find someone who'll sell me one for $50,000.
Okay.
But when you're researching something, you don't look for the most expensive.
I didn't. I researched what the department had looked into in the past.
They
Well, I'm
gave you
looking
the specifics.
Yeah, you didn't know what they looked into. You didn't have a bar. But the bottom line is the department was begging for a $1,200. You tabled what Mark says is a lousy washer. You tabled that and said go without. And what we're looking at here is we're looking at a trend, because you're spending tens of thousands of dollars on attorneys and pretend detectives and to attack the people in this township. When we don't need detectives and we don't need lawyers. We need somebody who will buy generators so that when the fire department, when the lights go out, they can turn the lights on. We need somebody who will buy a washing machine so these guys aren't walking around with carcinogens in their car. We don't need excuses to go drive over to Newark and beg those guys for their soap and their washer to build a relationship with them. As my wife said when I was talking about it, she says, you can go to a neighbor and say, can I borrow a cup of sugar? I'm baking a cake. But you can't go to your neighbor and say, hey, will you supply my family with sugar the rest of our lives? It doesn't work that way. And it would be different if we didn't have money. But we have all this money to pay for people that are attacking our own people. Our trustees have turned against us, or attacking our own people, spending our money to attack us when we need things. And you guys just don't give a crap. So it's obvious, we may not get our washer, and we may not get our generator, and we may not get a new ambulance, and we may not get a new firehouse, but we'll get new trustees.
Correspondence?
Yep. From Mike one, maybe we can get a little money back from the road salt court case.
Yes, we did make salt purchases during that time, so we would be eligible for the refund.
Next, I have the information about the winter salt contract. I think Licking County for the winter is at $73 a ton. You can put that over, I think that's what I said last night. No, it was 76.04. And this is notification of the project approval for the Summit Street Road. About the same. That tells us we have money. That is all the correspondence.
City announcements?
Yes. Just a minute. Oh, would you like to go ahead and tell everybody?
Yeah. I'll give you this, yeah. We're having a car show for the Fraternal Order of Police. It's the Jim Landis Memorial Car Show. I know a lot of people know Jim. So we're having it down at the FOP Lodge on South 6th Street. Hopefully everybody can come.
What is it?
Have a good time. It's the FOP's car show.
When?
Oh, it's Saturday, I'm sorry, this Saturday. From 1 to 5.
What's your name again, ma'am?
It's Joyce Weber.
What's the registration fee?
It's $10.
Okay, well, thank you for bringing that, sharing it.
What?
Try to get somebody back.
Yeah, we just got it, so.
See, it's supposed to be August 7th. Whose is this?
Okay, the next regular meeting will be July 21st at 4:30 here at the high school. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Any special meetings between now and then?
Not to my knowledge.
At this point.
Okay.
Oh, for the power building? Yeah, it's $80,000 a month or $80,000 a year. They have to set aside for that. But it was in a general fund allocated towards that. They took that money, and that basically probably the money that they're spending for the thing. Because we're paying him $30 an hour. The detective really isn't a detective. He's had no license or anything. 55 an hour. I think I paid 35 an hour. 35 an hour, 10 to 30, $20 rate. The money's gone. The money's taken out of the budget. You watch it go. They took the money out of the budget and put it in the general fund. So it just goes into the $6,700,000 we used to have all of it. So it's going to eat a lot of it this year. No, they're not. They want to use that money up. How much is spent for the fire department?
This year,
Yeah.
probably less than 50. All we've done is a couple repairs.
So your budget's actually going to go down. Go roll over even more money because you're spending your money on your lawyers and all that.
No, that's general.
Well, we can get the whole budget wise. But they okay both of them. Which is a problem. Nothing happened.
Section.
How can you go to taxpayers and ask